Pressure is best described as a force that gets exerted on something. You see, everything in life is about force and resistance. That is the pressure that gets put on us to do something and the response that we have for that. In business, the pressure is often the urgency to deliver outcomes well, and the response or the resistance is how we manage that and stay personally productive. Productivity is often driven by this balance of force and resistance, managing the external pressures and keeping ourselves receptive when we're under pressure. This is best identified in figure 1.1 about understanding what your personal switches are. Productivity for us is driven by mainly three factors, or influenced by three factors. Number one, it is the demand that you are put under, the expectations, the requirements you have to fulfill. That demand then pushes or questions your capacity. In other words, how much can I get done? What can I organize myself? How well can I arrange my time? What's my capacity to fulfill this demand? That capacity then questions your sustainability, questions how long can I keep going at this pace for and achieve this result without burning myself out. So therefore, demand pushes capacity, questions sustainability, and then comes back to demand. So we have this pattern here which drives or determines our productivity. But there are many forces or pressures that will influence your productivity. One of those is your accessibility. And that is how well or how quickly we can find you. If you think about this, if you go back, say 30, 40 years in your role right now, and let's say you're in a meeting, you'd be in a meeting. If you're away with your family, you'd be away with your family. But now, mate, we've got mobiles, Blackberries, laptops. We can find you anywhere, anyhow. We can grab your attention and put that attention on my issue because now you are more accessible to me. And your clients, your colleagues, your customers know it as well. And therefore, what happens is you don't control your time anymore. Often your time is reactive to what's happening around you. And this is going to change the way in which how productive you are under pressure. It's going to influence the way in which you work because you're not designed to be on the whole time. In fact, your body is designed by nature to go from on to off, on to off, on to off, and so forth. Your body chemistry changes throughout the day. Different hormones and chemicals get released to slow down the pace, to increase the pace. Your sleep-wake cycle changes. Your body temperature changes. The thing is now, because you're more accessible, you now go from on to on to on to on, and you wonder why by about sort of 2 in the afternoon, your head's a bit overloaded, you might be feeling tired and just don't have the drive to keep going through. Because we've allowed accessibility, the force or the pressure of accessibility to determine the pace that you're going at, that you're always on. Secondly, the second pressure that impacts the way in which we operate is the fact that we have an increased expected output. If you want to know anything, information, where do you go? Well, Google. Google knows everything. So in the first 30 to 45 seconds, you'll pretty much find information that you want in an instant. And that is now we are living in a time of immediate gratification. If I want something, I get it now. If I want food, I don't have to wait. I get fast food now. If I want music, I don't go down the store and buy a CD. I just download it now. If I don't have enough money, I get credit to get what I want now. So we're now living at a time where if I want it, I get it. And there's no time to wait. The generation coming into business now, they've always had the internet, they've always had mobile phones, and they've always been living in a world of immediate gratification. If I want it, I get it now. What that means for you, that pressure, that expectancy is now placed on you because you can rock up to work with a great plan, a great idea of how your day is going to go. In the first 10 minutes, receive half a dozen emails or phone calls with multiple requests put onto you that are non-realistic and have too many time frames that you can't adhere to. Problem is, if you're trying to be everything to everyone, then you will burn yourself out. The nature of pressure now is changing. There's more to do than time available, and there is a greater amount of expectation than ever before. If you're being everything to everyone, you are not respecting the changing nature of pressure and you won't stay productive. The third pressure, the third force that we're put under is what's called a compromised lifestyle. What I love about technology is that you can have a mobile phone and a laptop and be in business anywhere. And that just gives you flexibility and freedom. However, you can be home with your family and friends, and whilst you're physically there, you're having dinner, in the back of your mind, you might be thinking, I wouldn't mind just getting to that call. I wouldn't mind just getting to that email. I wouldn't mind just getting to that report. I wouldn't mind. And whilst you are still there, in the back of your mind, you're not. And therefore, you're not really connected into what you're doing. In Australia alone, antidepressive medication and sleep medication are a booming industry because we're losing the natural ability to unwind, switch off, and reconnect. These are the pressures that we're under. This is the force that is being put onto us. And we need to work out the right balance of managing the force and the right resistance, the right response to stay productive under pressure.